morning and welcome to Christ Over Coffee. I'm Sister Rosalia Galmin, a Holy Spirit missionary sister. What an exciting moment for having you here with us today. Thank you very much for set up your time to join us on this episode 13, Christ Over Coffee Conversation. And as you know, together with me is Mr. Andrew Dixon, who I am sure is getting ready to join in right from his office. Good morning, Andrew. How are you doing?
Good morning, Sister Rosalia, and good morning to everyone watching. Thank you so much for joining us today. It's a beautiful day. The sun is shining. I am a little dressed up today, but it's just a special way for me to just say hello to my mom who's watching in anticipation for Mother's Day coming up. Just wanted to say Happy Mother's Day to all the mothers in advance. And, it's just such a wonderful time, The seasons are changing, the flowers are coming out. It's just very nice to be here today with you and look forward to what our guest has in store.
So, tell us, what will we talk about today?
Our episode is entitled, Washed by His Love. Today, we have the distinct honor of interviewing Father Adam MacDonald, SVD. Father Adam is a Divine Word missionary priest, but he also serves as the Vocations director for the SVDs. I've had an opportunity to just learn from him a little bit and just to hear what Vocations looks like from his perspective. And so it will be wonderful to hear him share that wealth of knowledge with you all in the hopes that someone watching today who's been discerning whether or not they feel God calling them to missionary life, that they would be encouraged to pick up the phone and give us a call. It would be so wonderful to hear from you. With that said, Sister Rosalia, I know that you have a wealth of information as far as Vocations as well. Would you please share with the audience your perspective as it pertains to Vocations?
Well, as you know, Andrew, the topic about vocation is always very interesting topic for me personally, and I believe for all of us, because we all have vocation to live our life the best we can. The guide for us is the Holy Spirit, who gives us the inspiration and the grace to follow His promptings that come to us in different forms in life. Why is that so interesting? Because any story of life directing or even drastic change in life's direction is a fascinating story about God's works in us. It is always start with the first yes, even if that yes is pretty tentative and wobbly. It is always a moment that has a lot of energy, that leads into searching, longing, hoping to enter into deeper understanding of that call and God's interest on us. That's the way how it feels. It is so surprising and will move you to seek more affirmation and counsel and more definite direction of your yes. Over 20 years ago, I never could imagine that one day in my life, I will be in another continent of this world and working with many different peoples from very diverse backgrounds and stories. I never thought that after my name that given by my parents, I will add the acronym SSpS, Servant of the Holy Spirit, on it. And I never thought to travel this far from my home, Indonesia. I never thought that one day I would be right here talking to you, sharing this impossible but so real fact how God called and shaped my life. All this started innocently enough when I entered the gates of the convent of the Holy Spirit Missionary Sisters in my hometown in Indonesia. Today, we want to listen to such a story, surprising and inspiring. We invite Father Adam MacDonald, SVD, whom many of you already know, and see what God has done in his life. Welcome, Father Adam. Thank you for your willingness to join us today.
A very good morning to you, Sister Rosalia and Andrew. And I've got my coffee with me this morning for this invitation to Christ Over Coffee. Thank you so much for inviting me. I think both of you know that coffee is my beverage of choice. So Christ Over Coffee is pretty much how I meet the Lord every day.
We are eager to hear your story of becoming a missionary and about your ministry of guiding and inspiring so many young people as the vocation director of the Divine Word Missionary. Please share with us.
It really is great to be with you this morning and to share with you a little bit of my experience as a vocation director for the Divine Word Missionaries these last 10 years. So as you introduced, I'm Father Adam MacDonald, and I have been in religious vows as a Divine Word Missionary for some 26 years and a priest for almost 21 years. So God's grace has led me through all these many years to this point in my life, and I'm truly humbled and grateful for God's fidelity. So what's interesting to have served as a vocation director for the last 10 years is that you come to discover that as vocation director, you not only invite others to share with you the story of how they have felt God's call and are trying to respond, but eventually the tables are turned and you get asked to share with the people who are discerning how you first felt God's call. And so what I really mean to say is that it's like the gift that keeps on giving. You receive the gift of your vocation, but as vocation director, you receive the gift of telling and sharing your story and being invited again and again to go deeper into understanding the mystery, the grace, and the work of God in your life. So as I reflect on that today, we'd love to share with you and our viewers as we enjoy our coffee, a story that really starts about 35 years ago when I was a second-year high school sophomore in my hometown of Flint, Michigan. And at that time in my life, I was going to public school, sometimes going to religious education classes, sometimes not, being forced by my parents to go to church every Sunday faithfully, whether I wanted to or not, primarily because it was their faith that I wanted to follow and to be obedient. But I really didn't understand the gift of my faith and what role it played in my life at that time. So I simply went along with what my parents sort of forced me and encouraged me to do. At the same time, I was one of 5 children in a large family of 6 going to an inner city high school with over 2,000 students. Didn't really know where I fit in my family and what role or what group I would fit into in this very large inner city high school. And that was sort of where God found me when, as I mentioned, as a second-year sophomore in high school, the phone rang one day, and it was the pastor of my local parish calling my parents to invite me to be one of the 12 apostles and have my feet washed on Holy Thursday. Now, of course, I really didn't understand what this was all about. I was taught to wash my feet every day, after all. But my parents thought this was such an amazing thing. And so they strongly encouraged me to say yes. And I have to confess, in all honesty, I said yes, not so much because I wanted a deep encounter with the love of God, but because I simply wanted my parents to be quiet. I'm sure none of our listeners can relate to that motivation. That being the case, I did say yes. And on Holy Thursday of 1986, I found myself there at St. Michael Parish in Flint, Michigan, portraying one of the 12 apostles and indeed having my feet washed. And the amazing thing that happened, Sister Rosalia, Andrew, and all of our listeners, the amazing thing that happened was that when Father washed my feet, I literally felt that Jesus was washing my feet. And I was overcome with a tremendous experience of a very personal encounter of God's love for me and a deep sense of peace that accompanied that. And it was for the first time in my life that the love of God went from being a notion and a concept in my head to being something I felt very deeply and very personally in my heart. This encounter with God's love put me on fire to know more about just who was this Jesus I kept hearing about. And so I began to ask questions. I began to get involved. I began to join the altar server group at my parish. I joined the youth group. I became a Eucharistic minister. I began working part-time after school in the office of the parish to make a little money, but also to be surrounded by people in this environment who also had met the Lord and had these deep encounters, who knew Jesus deeply and who wanted to share his love. And this environment encouraged me to think that maybe God could be calling me to a vocation so that I could spend my life helping others to encounter the love of God that I had encountered on that Holy Thursday some 35 years ago. And so indeed, that is a very big part of my story and a big part of the motivation that led me to say yes to God's call in this way. So as a missionary, I've been privileged to serve over different periods of my life in Japan and in my beloved Philippines, where I spent 4 years of my life, and for a number of years served in various leadership and administrative posts at our Divine Word headquarters in the Chicago, Illinois area. And for the last 10 years, as we've mentioned, serving as vocation director based out of Divine Word College Seminary in Epworth, Iowa. Another interesting thing about being a vocation director over 10 years is that you may know that when people join a religious formation program to be a Holy Spirit sister, a Divine Word brother, or priest, it can take a number of years to go through the process to actually profess vows and or to be ordained. And believe it or not, in the midst of the pandemic, just as many things were shutting down and we were having to shift the way we do our ministry to primarily go online and minister virtually, in the midst of all of that, I was blessed with the opportunity to be present for the ordination of a young man that I first invited to consider joining formation with the SVD community some 8 years prior. Father Marlon Vargas, SVD, who is now on mission in Spain, responded to the call in 2012 to first come and see and visit our community, and then to apply to join formation with the SVD community. And I continued to accompany him through his journey, through his years of studying philosophy and theology, his novitiate year of spiritual formation, preparing for his first vows, being present for his profession of first and temporary vows, his renewal of vows, his profession of perpetual vows, his ordination as a deacon, and then finally his ordination as priest. So they say that a woman carries a child in her womb for 9 months. It took me about 9 years to give birth to this vocation, but just what a beautiful and humbling experience to have invited and then accompanied someone over that course of time, and now to be a confrere, a fellow brother, a fellow priest of Jesus Christ with Father Marlon in the same community, and to also be close friends as well. It's just a tremendous gift and blessing. During this pandemic, as I mentioned, our ministry has turned almost completely virtual for all intents and purposes. And it's really been a tremendous partnership between the Divine Word community and the Holy Spirit Missionary Sisters. For those who've followed our virtual programs these last year, to know that over the course of 2020, we did 38 consecutive weeks of Thursday morning Facebook Live and Zoom recorded conversations where we really wanted to tell the story of who we are as members of the Arnoldus family, the communities founded by St. Arnold Jansen, and to encourage young people to consider that this is still a very good time to discern and to discover how God is calling them to use their gifts and talents to make a difference in our world. This pandemic reminding us of just how precious is our one true life and what we want to do with that one true life to make an impact in serving the needs of our world. And so many thanks to the Holy Spirit Sisters for your tremendous, wonderful collaboration. The Divine Word Missionaries, you may know, have taken on a new initiative with the beginning of calendar year 2021 in the form of an online discernment group, which has been meeting every last Thursday of the month. So the idea is that we've used a lot of these programs to promote awareness of who we are as members of the Arnoldus family. Now we want to accompany and journey with those who've listened to and followed that promotion, have heard something that struck them and caused them to want to know more. And now we are inviting them into conversation with us, but also with one another to build a community of support as they continue discerning God's call. So I have a couple more years to serve as vocation director on my current term of assignment. But honestly, I feel motivated and inspired to continue, if God would will it, to be in this wonderful ministry. Many people think it is a thankless task because it involves a lot of moving around and moving from place to place and not always seeing a lot of fruits. But as a long-term vocation director for the last 10 years, I can tell you it's one of the most wonderfully inspiring ministries I've been involved in. Each and every day, I get to listen to the stories of young people who are seriously considering the purpose for which they've been created and wanting to commit their lives to something bigger than themselves. That inspires me to no end to live my own vocation more faithfully. So, Sister Rosalia, Andrew, and all those listening, I have my coffee and I want to say cheers and thank you for your invitation today. I hope you have a wonderful, blessed day. Thank you for all the efforts you make through this wonderful program to invite people to grow closer to Jesus. And as St. Arnold Jansen prayed, may the heart of Jesus truly live in our hearts and in the hearts of all people. Have a great day. God bless.
Wow. Father Adam, thank you so much for your willingness to share not only of your story, but your journey as a vocation director. And we look forward to collaborating with you more in the future. And just thank you so much for your dedication to God's call and the missionary life. We really appreciate you coming today. You know, as we said earlier, if you yourself feel that God is calling you to missionary service, the Holy Spirit Missionary Sisters would love nothing more than to be able to walk that journey with you. And if you are ready today to step forward and seek after what God may have for you in your life, we ask that you would give us a call. That number is 847-441-0126. Again, that's 847-441-0126. From there, you just press 0 and the operator will get you to the appropriate party. If you would like to send us an email or get in contact with us via online, that's totally fine as well. Our web address is www.SSpS-USA.org. Again, that's www.SSpS-USA.org. And from there, all you have to do is click on the contact section, leave us your name, your phone number, and an email. We can get in touch with you and we will respond to it as soon as possible. Thank you so much. We look forward to hearing from you today. We thank you so much for following us on social media. Your responses, your sharing, your requests for prayers, it really enriches the experience and it lets us know just a little bit more about you in a way to help us engage with you on a more personal level. And so today, if you have time, please visit us at one or more of our various areas on social media. We are on Facebook, Instagram, and YouTube. And you can find us in these areas down below. We look forward to hearing from you, and we just want to say thank you so much for just journeying with us. You know, if there's anything that we want you to know in this, is that we care for you and we appreciate you. We don't take any of your comments or your likes or your shares for granted. It really helps us to reach out to more people in the hopes that someone will come forward to see what God has in store for them. And so you truly do journey with us when you follow us on social media and you tell someone about what we're doing. You never know what that small investment does in the life of not only a person, but to the kingdom of God. So thank you. Also, not only is May 9th Mother's Day, but it's also the day that our Holy Spirit Missionary Sisters will be doing a Pentecost recollection. That is May 9th. It's going to be at 7:30 p.m. The Zoom link will be right here below. And also, if you go to our Facebook page, the full advertisement with all the information on it will be there for you. We're inviting all single women who are discerning God's call to come on and join us. And you'll actually be able to see Sister Rosalia. So that'll be a treat, right? So please, again, May 9th at 7:30 p.m. via Zoom, we're going to be going over some things as it pertains to Pentecost recollection. So please stop by our Facebook to get more information. We look forward to seeing you on May 9th. Well, it's been another wonderful episode here at Christ Over Coffee. Again, we want to thank Father Adam MacDonald, SVD, and I want to thank Sister Rosalia for her friendship, for her kindness, for her sharing and dedication to the missionary life. Thank you always for watching, sharing, and until next week, remember, we're going to be walking this life one sip at a time. Thank you so much. May God bless you. Happy Mother's Day, and be safe. Bye-bye.